4 minutes to the gentleman from Texas, my colleague and friend, Congressman Beto O'Rourke.
I'd like to thank the gentlelady from Hawaii for yielding and for her leadership on this issue. I served with her for 2 years on the Homeland Security Committee of the House of Representatives and saw her ability to balance the national interest in capitalizing and maximizing the opportunity that immigrants provide and have always provided to the United States, while ensuring that we protect the homeland and our sacred commitment to every person and family that we represent to make sure that they're safe. I think that the community that I have the honor of representing in Congress, El Paso, Texas, is the case in point. We are one of the safest cities in the United States today. If you use the FBI's crime statistics as crunched by CQ Press, they routinely rank El Paso, Texas, the safest city in not just the state of Texas, but in the United States. And for the last 20 years, we've been the safest, second safest, or third safest in the country. And that is not in spite of the fact that we're connected with Mexico. Our sister city is Ciudad Juarez. And it's not in spite of the fact that 24% of the people that I represent were born in another country, most of them in Mexico. In fact, our security, our success, our strength is connected to the fact that we are a city of immigrants, that we're connected to the rest of the world through our shared border with Mexico, and that understanding that is critical to preserving the security and public safety, which is such a critical part of our job. And I'll give you an example. Not too long ago, under this administration, a woman who was an undocumented immigrant from Mexico was in an El Paso County courtroom seeking a protective order because her boyfriend threatened her life. The judge in that courtroom granted that protective order. And as that woman was leaving the courtroom, she was apprehended by a plainclothes Border Patrol agent. That has never, to my knowledge, happened in our community in the El Paso County Courthouse. And the consequences of that are not just that this one person was taken off the streets, placed into detention and custody. The consequence is that we have fewer people from the immigrant community in El Paso coming forward to serve as witnesses in crimes, to serve as to report crimes in the first place, to testify, to take part in the criminal justice system in a way that has kept our communities safe. By definition today, because of that one act, because of the climate of fear and intimidation and anxiety produced by this administration, El Paso, Texas, the state of Texas, this country is less safe. So if we want to respond to the most urgent issue that each constituent of ours depends on us for, that is their safety, their security, that of the community and the country that we serve, then we need to make sure that we treat everyone within our communities that we represent with dignity and respect. We need to make sure that local law enforcement is not seen as a tool of federal immigration law, but that they are there to preserve and to protect the peace and to serve the constituents and the people who live in those communities. I'd also add that next week marks the 5th anniversary of the Deferred Action on Childhood Arrivals, or DACA program, implemented under President Obama. And it was an important step that this country took to realize the gains that we and future generations will receive by ensuring that those young people who arrived on our shores and through our land ports of entry like El Paso, through no fault of their own, at the tender age of 5 or 6 years old, and who are now in school or want to serve in our military or want to create jobs themselves, are able to stay here and flourish so that we receive the benefit of their potential. I hope this Congress, every colleague from both sides of the aisle, will work with me and others to ensure that we have, if not comprehensive immigration reform, which I think should remain the goal, then reform in those areas, like for the Dreamers and the DACA beneficiaries, that is most urgent and most critical to the states that we represent and serve, like Texas, with 200 DACA beneficiaries out of 700,000 nationwide. It's the right thing to do for our security. It's the right thing to do for economic growth and job creation, and it's the right thing to do in the best interests and traditions of this country. And so I conclude by, again, thanking the gentlelady from Hawaii for leading this discussion on this critically important issue, and I thank her for the privilege of being able to speak tonight.
Thank you. I thank my friend.